So, Nick, what have you been playing?
I took a brave dive into the old backlog this week. And I started playing a game that was released a month after the Switch came out. It's called Graceful Explosion Machine. And it's a 2D side-scrolling shooter. A very small team developed it. I think it was like 4 or 5 people in Toronto. And I think I got this when it went on sale, the first time it went on sale. So mid-2017, it's £10 on the eShop, if I remember correctly. I think I got 50% off, but I could be wrong. Could have been less than that. It could have been 20 or 30. And I just saw it sat there, so I thought, why not? I'll give it a go. I fancied to shoot 'em up, and it's great. I'm really enjoying it. Art style is very simple, colourful. It looks like a mobile game, to be honest. At first glance, when you see it, it looks like a mobile game. Like bright colours, very simple graphical style. But it's nice, it's colourful. And I was a little bit surprised at how deep it was going by how it looks, because I'm not really a fan of shoot-'em-ups, and I've never really played them in the past on SNES or Game Boy or anything like that era. I never really played shoot-'em-ups. But this is quite an interesting one, I think. You have 4 weapons, basically. You've got your regular blasters on the A button, and then on B you've got like a permanent laser beam which extends really, really far in front of you. And then if you press Y, there's like a brief like 1.5 second shield which spins around you and crushes anything that's around you. And then X is your missiles, which go out in all directions and do heavy damage. But the interesting thing is that your blasters, you can shoot for about 5 seconds until they're overcharged. And all of the other weapons that you have are very, very limited. So if you use the laser beam for like 2 or 3 seconds, it cuts out and you can't use any of your other weapons except the blasters. So basically you're just juggling everything, trying not to go too far into your secondary weapons, and like keeping your blasters, which are the weakest ones obviously and don't fire very far in front of you, trying to keep them interspersed basically between the other ones. And it's quite interesting, like, how it all works, and getting around that system is part of the fun of the challenge of the game, because the enemies, to be honest, especially in the first couple of worlds, are very sort of brainless. They just slowly move towards you, sometimes in big groups, and it can get a bit like claustrophobic and a bit hard. Yeah, so you're just managing basically that system. And then on the R button you've got a speed boost, which can quickly get you out of trouble, but you can only use 2 of them before it replenishes. So if you use them to get away, then you've got to wait a while before it comes back. And another thing that I thought was quite interesting about this is that you can only face left or right. So it's not 360 movement, and you can't shoot anywhere you want. You shoot straight in front of you left or straight in front of you right. And L will swap you around between left and right. And it's quite slow, so it has to be done like at the right moment. The levels are quite interesting because they're basically a long strip which is back to back. So if you go to the right, you come back to the left. And they're very compact and very small. So you can be firing and going backwards, and then eventually you'll come back to that group that you're firing at. But the whole like pressing L to change left and right definitely makes it interesting. I think the levels are about 3, 4, 5 minutes long. They're very short levels. Like you have 3 phases basically. You kill a set of bad guys and then it stops. You have a little breather. And then it's another phase, and then it's the same again. You get 3 lives or 3 hits, basically. And if you die, your score gets reset to 0. If you're down to 1 or 2 health, you can kill like a few enemies in a row. A health thing will pop up, and you can try and grab it, but it'll be surrounded by enemies. So it's a bit risk and reward in that sense. And I think one of the things that I really liked about this game was that it really does have that sort of one more go feeling. When you've done a level, or even if you die, you feel like, oh, I can do that better next time, or you want to move on to the next level. And even though it really looks like a mobile game, it doesn't control like one. I think this game would be very difficult to pull off on mobile. I think it is available on mobile, but I could be wrong. I know it's on Xbox and PS4. The controls are really tight and really responsive. It does everything that you want it to do. And if you mess up, it is your fault, basically. Like, everything is responsive and you have like quite a lot of control over what you're doing. I think the first couple of worlds were a little bit easy. Like, I died a few times and I was getting used to it because, like I said, I'm not really that much of a shoot 'em up player. But I started World 3 last night and the difficulty definitely spikes when you get to World 3. So I think I'm about halfway through it and I'm getting kind of stuck now because the enemies are getting stronger. Like, they're charging at you and stuff like that. And some of them, when you kill them, they explode. And there's quite a big explosion radius, so you have to be far away. So you can't kill them with the blasters because they'll just hit you, basically. So you have to, like, use your weapons in kind of more thoughtful ways. The ranking system, you have to get a certain score to achieve a different ranks. It's got D, C, B, A, and S, I guess, is the top one. I'm usually getting a B or an A on most levels. S is pretty hard, and this is the most addictive thing about it is the combo system, because as you kill enemies, your combo will slowly build up, and if you take a hit, obviously your combo's gone, but also if you don't kill an enemy for about 2 or 3 seconds, you lose your combo as well. So you've just got to keep, like, you can clear a bunch of enemies and then you got to go straight and find the next one if there's nothing around you, or you'll lose your combo. So it's just mixing all that together that it's a really nice and engaging, simple, but very effective, the way it controls the game. So I'm glad that I managed to pick this up 3 years ago, and I'm glad that I finally started playing it because I've had fun doing it.
You never tried to play it beforehand?
I have tried to play it, and I must have just given up straight away. I must have bought like 2 or 3 games at the same time, put it on for a few minutes, and I'll come back to that later, and then never did. But now I have, and I'm glad I did. I reckon probably, depending on how difficult it gets, you're probably looking at about 4 to 5 hours, 4 worlds, 10 levels in each world, unless there's hidden stuff. And then obviously going for an S rank on every level is gonna take a bit of time. Like, you're probably gonna have to get pretty good at the game to really get up to that level. So I'm definitely gonna finish it, and I'll go through World 1 and see how easy it is for me now that I've got better at the game to get an S combo. But yeah, a nice little surprise.
Get to the top of the leaderboards, isn't it? That's another challenge, and it's like, let's see how far I can get up the leaderboards for the best in the world. There was another game very similar to that where you loop around in a single level, but it was based underwater, called Aqua Kitty DX. that was quite good as well. It sounds like you look at the name, you look at the icon, which Greg would absolutely despise, and it looks like a cheap throwaway game, and it was cheap, but it's not throwaway. You basically got 4 bases on the bottom of the level, because you're at the bottom of the ocean, which are apparently you're milking the earth, so it's coming out with milk. And you've got to protect these milk deposits from the mice who are coming in to steal it. And you're this cat in an underwater submarine who's taking these underwater mice out. A lot of fun as well, and it's got that same kind of progression with getting combos going, and flipping your ship takes a little while, so you better do it at the right time, and there's a little story mode going on. I can understand how Graceful Explosion Machine interests me.
There is no story this though, it's just a straight level, very simple, but a lot of fun. Yeah,
Cool.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and give us a like if you've enjoyed our content. You can also check out our other great content on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and the N-E Café podcast from all good podcast providers. Just follow the links in the description below.